Welcome to Yin Yoga Lifestyle. I am your host, Colette Darville. Cultivating our body's resilience and inner silence and its application to all aspects of your life. Let's become enlightened and enjoy the power of intuitiveness and creativity. Dr. Janet, I would like to bestow on you the honor of being Yin Yoga Lifestyle's 100th guest. Woohoo! Yay!
That's awesome. I feel like I'm on The Price is Right.
You are listening to Society Bites Radio, social interaction for the mind and soul. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. I am your host, Colette Darville, and this is Yin Yoga Lifestyle. So now let us take a deep meditative breath. Inhale, so. Exhale, hum. Dr. Janet Galipo received a BA in anthropology and a master's degree in counseling education from Boston University. As an acupuncture physician, her advanced acupuncture studies include training in Kiko Masumoto and Richard Tan. Her clinical skills include acupuncture, homeopathy, Chinese and Western herbal medicine, nutritional counseling, and a wide range of other holistic therapies. She has since transitioned to her practice to be focused on BodyTalk intuitive medicine, since it is the most innovative and paradigm-shifting modality in her clinical experience. Dr. Galipo is now an internationally renowned advanced senior international instructor in the system and runs a BodyTalk and acupuncture holistic clinic in Miami called 2, which is the number, Be Healthy Inc. Dr. Galipo, along with her colleague, Dr. Stuve, together teach body intuitive training internationally that is designed to help integrative healthcare professionals and their patients uncover and access the missing piece of the puzzle in health and healing. In 2003, Dr. Galipo was part of a team that created Be Healthy Inc., a not-for-profit organization that has developed and supported worldwide programs in body talk and holistic medicine in the U.S., Brazil, the Philippines, Mexico, Peru, South Africa, and Nepal. Be Healthy Inc. continues with its strong commitment to provide holistic medical solutions to the world's disadvantaged. Welcome back to Yin Yoga Lifestyle, Dr. Janet.
Oh, thank you so much, Colette. It's a pleasure to be here today. Thank you so much for inviting me.
And first of all, I would like to bestow on you the honor of being Yin Yoga Lifestyle 100th guest.
Oh, how fantastic. Thank you so much. 100 is a great number.
It is a great number. And you wear the crown.
I love it. Oh, it's wonderful. Thank you so much, Colette.
You're welcome, Dr. Janet. And really, becoming a holistic practitioner is not an easy feat. But my question to you today, to start off, what or who inspired you to become a holistic practitioner?
Well, I think it always starts with a personal story. So a long time ago, backtrack about 30 years or so, when I was in my early 20s, I had a couple of different experiences. One, of course, was a personal health experience where I was getting very frequent urinary tract infections and just running to the doctor all the time. And finally, I had a really great holistic MD in a community healthcare center in Boston, Massachusetts, where I was living at the time. And he said to me, you know what? You don't have to be taking all these antibiotics. You can do the same thing with concentrated cranberry juice. And I thought, what? Is he serious? Why am I spending all this money and time at the doctor? So that was a real eye-opener. And I did try the cranberry juice, and it did work. And so I thought, wow, there's a whole world out there of natural remedies, and I really want to explore it. And then a couple of years later, I had a very good friend, and we wanted to get pregnant at the same time. We wanted to have babies. We were both, in our 20s. We were married, and it was time to start a family. And then she went for a checkup, and it turned out that she had ovarian cancer that had
Oh
already.
no, that's
And,
not
it was
great.
just such an unbelievable shock. She was a super healthy person for
Mm.
somebody in their early 20s to have a condition. And so the doctors, there were already metastases to different parts of her body. And in those days, people really didn't know how to treat ovarian cancer. It's still challenging, but, 30 years ago, it was really challenging. And so she just said, you know what? I'm going to go see a holistic practitioner. I'm going to go see a Chinese doctor. And she did. And she did herbal medicine, and she did acupuncture, and she did some macrobiotic food therapy. And, it disappeared and it cleared, and she's fine
Wow.
today. So these things were a real eye opener at a critical time in my life.
And as well as running your busy clinic, um, and seeing all these amazing miracles happen, right? In lots of patients. Um, you're an advanced senior international instructor in the BodyTalk system. So can you also and you also run a not-for-profit company called Be Healthy Inc. Can you tell us more about this foundation?
Yes, Colette. So, I started practicing in the early 1990s, and I was practicing, as you mentioned, acupuncture, lots of different related therapies. But I always felt that there was a missing piece. I would always think, God, if I could only just shrink myself down like the, incredible shrinking woman and climb into somebody's body, I'm going
Right.
to be able to see what's really going on in there, because, things can be really complicated, in the average individual. So many different influences, so much different history, genetic history and environmental history, emotional history, and, on and on. And I would know that even sometimes with all of my knowledge in Chinese medicine that I was missing something. So when I learned the body talk system in 2000 and, started really introducing that into my practice and seeing all kinds of miracles happen, I thought, wow, this really needs to be extended to everyone. Like, it shouldn't be just a system for people who can pay. And of course, this is always the challenge with, holistic therapies, is that some of them are covered by insurance and some aren't, of course. So I was talking one day with a friend of mine, and at that time I had been approached by a student who was living here in Miami, who asked me to bring the body talk system to Brazil. And so she explained that, Brazil really loves new things. They're very into holistic medicine. They're open. And she said she thought body talk would do very well there. And I said, well, yeah, but, it costs a lot of money to like
Mm.
translate everything and bring a whole team down there to get things started. So in a conversation with a friend of mine, she said, you know what? Why don't you open a nonprofit? Why don't you open a 501(c)(3) and let's raise some money and let's bring Body Talk to Brazil? So that was the beginning. And of course, we've never looked back. The nonprofit has been open since 2003. We've done a great deal of work in Brazil. And we've done things like introduce Body Talk into the Army Hospital in some of the cities, including Brasilia and Recife. We've also introduced Body Talk into children's cancer hospitals and high-risk prenatal hospitals. And then, of course, we've also introduced Body Talk just to the general public. Lots of medical doctors in Brazil have learned Body Talk along with other allied health professionals. And so Body Talk is a real presence there. And
Mm.
I had the great good fortune to be in Brazil over the summer, and I was able to address the Brazilian Congress, actually. And so that was really fantastic, to address the, equivalent of what would be like the House of Representatives here, about Body Talk and about the role of holistic medicine in integrative medicine programs. And the upshot of it is that they want to do a program featuring Body Talk in the public schools in Brasilia, because they're finding that a lot of the children there are they're hurting themselves, like they're cutting themselves, and
Oh,
also there's sort of a high suicide rate in the schools, and so they're really looking for options. The medications aren't really working, so they've asked me to help with setting up a project between the health department and the school department to really introduce body talk to be able to help to stabilize the children.
wow. That's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. And but how did you select the countries for the
Well,
Be Healthy Inc? I mean, for the international projects, was there a specific way that you went about that?
I mean, they kind of found me, and I think that, when you have a nonprofit that is open and is really wanting to engage in projects around the globe, there's probably going to be more requests than there are actually, available resources. So, then after Brazil, we were approached by actually two sisters who worked for the president of South Africa, and they were also involved with body talk and holistic healing, and they knew about my foundation, and they asked me to come to South Africa and be able to teach to some of the health workers who worked in the president's cabinet, as well as other public health workers who were working in different townships in different areas of South Africa. So I did travel there some years ago, and we introduced Body Talk into some hospitals. And even though I was only in South Africa once, I still get emails that they are using the information and the knowledge that I was able to share on that trip. Then, of course, we were approached by a group in the Philippines. And of course, the Philippines has such a hard time, so many, different challenges, political, religious. Of course, we know the weather challenges. They had the super typhoon there some years ago. Well, one of our body talkers is from the Philippines, and she spends half the year there. And so we have been funding a Philippines project for over 6 years. And basically, what we do is we pay people so that they don't have to work at jobs, so that they can work full time in Body Talk and travel around the country just delivering holistic health services. And
Wow.
just recently, we got a recent report from Marawi in the Philippines, and I don't know if you know, but that's one of the major centers. Although the Philippines is primarily a Catholic country, but with really 90 million people, I mean, it's really got a huge population. There is a Muslim stronghold, and in Marawi in 2017, they basically destroyed the city because of ISIS forces. And so the city is still putting itself back together again. And 2 years ago, Body Talk outreachers that were funded by the Foundation Be Healthy went to the war-torn city there, and they provided medical support to the survivors of the conflict between the ISIS forces and the Philippine government. And the outreachers were even there, like during the battles. Like, it was just incredible. They really take things very seriously there. So then last month, the Body Talk outreachers returned to Marawi in the Philippines, and they found that there's still about 2,000 families that are still waiting to be relocated. But they're very warmly received by the people who are living in the evacuation centers. And what they do there is they just get big groups together, and they just practice Body Talk on these big groups. And, they're just really able to kind of restore the positive attitude, deal with any pain issues, really help to address stress. We have beautiful photographs from the area. And, as one woman said, working in this way actually gives us hope. These energy medicine techniques work. They're really effective in balancing body, mind, and spirit of even people impacted by natural disasters. So we can go on and on. And then, of course, we have a project in Nepal. We were in Nepal in May, and we treated about 1,500 people there that have literally no health care. I mean, we went to this remote area that was affected by the 2015 Nepal earthquake. And it was an area called Yoma, which was about 6 hours outside of Kathmandu. And of course, the earthquake was, it was 4 years ago, and we went there, and the whole place is still a pile of rubble. There is
Yeah.
nothing. There is zero. And we went out there with a group of about, 15 volunteers,